So arts-based therapy is evidence-based use of multi-art forms, and when we say multi-art forms, we say it encompasses theatre, drama, voice, movement, play, directive, non-directive play, storytelling, drumming. By using these tools in artistic media, how could one look at achieving learning and therapeutic goals? Children with special needs have very different learning patterns. And this, I'm saying it as a very blanket statement. When I say special needs here, I mean children with developmental disabilities, autism, cerebral palsy, visually impaired, and this is the group that I work with. So for each of them, their needs are so diverse that they just learn differently. So arts-based therapy provides that platform, which is very non-threatening, non-invasive, and yet where the learning is very learner-led. So that's what I think is an advantage of using arts as a medium, because it's just so pervasive, it's just so organic. How I see the methodology of the arts being used is largely in creative interventions into classroom settings. And when I mean this, I mean any curriculum that is presented to the children can be tailor-made using creative interventions. An example, we recall best songs, even of languages that we don't know, we don't speak. So there is a definite recall pattern that happens through music. Similarly, say tables. Most of us remember tables because of probably the tune that we have got into. So what would it mean to look at the way in which people learn, children learn, and infuse that with a tool of the arts? So we could look at, like I use drumming to be able to help children achieve goals in math. So for your very little ones, one way of doing it is I show you the number. Children can rote numbers from 1 to 200, but then in terms of quantity of numbers, children with learning difficulties or even regular children, what would it mean to give the child a drum or introduce a child to body jamming? So for every clap that I give you, you call response to the next number. Like, say we're doing table, 2 table. I'm saying, I do 2, so you clap 4. I do, So I'm saying what happens in that process is that learning experience is so enriched that there's no way that a child doesn't learn. In some cases, we've used dance and movement to teach the child water cycle, what evaporation is, what condensation is. So what we're only saying is children are very creative. There's nothing that we need to do. Can we use this as a tool to have them access that creativity? Because I often feel you can't get you get educated out of creativity. And what would it mean to use creativity as a starting point to learning? The greatest shifts that one has seen has been in the space of speech and language and in their ability to understand, their cognitive domain. So I have said this in many interviews as well. Sneha is a child that I worked with who was told when she was 2.5, 3 years that she may not be able to walk or talk. She's a child with Down syndrome. But today Sneha speaks 5 Indian languages. She's learning dance. Now what has happened is the environment around her being receptive and non-threatening has actually got Sneha, I'm sure, to access certain methodologies of learning herself. So what we have taught Sneha has been through songs and stories. So if I have to do academic content, I would use movement to be able to teach them, to reinforce concepts of learning. So I wouldn't really say, although therapy has a connotation of treatment and special populations, but I think can we look at art-based interventions? Can we look at arts to bring about change? It could be change for inclusion, change for learning, change for development. So that's the way I've understood, and that's the way we use arts in our space of work.